Okay, once again, I am Nathan Terry, and we're talking about keyboard shortcuts even more because these are so important and just great. They are just great. Oh, that thing I was telling you earlier about the F, you can do it by clicking this thing, but that's lame. Don't be lame. Of course, Z brings you to the zoom tool, H gets you to the hand tool, etc. Eyedropper, and all the other stuff in there. The counting tool, just in case we want to count stuff. I think that's only extended. Woo! I once did that a lot until it got really everywhere. Okay, which brings me to our next shortcut, which is Command Z to undo stuff. And some people say you should just use the history palette thing, but there's no way I'm going to click that thing and then do all that stuff. Sometimes if you're not sure what happened, look at your history palette, but a lot of times I'm pretty sure. I mean, I can tell that all these guys are here. So Command Z will actually only get you one move, and it'll keep doing it back and forth, which is really dumb, because actually in Elements that's not the case. It just keeps letting you go back and back and back. But see how it just turns it back on and off. Anyway, so the first time I hit Command Z, then I have to do Command Alt Z or Control Alt Z, and then it keeps undoing these steps I did before. And you can actually set up how many steps, how many history steps you can take in Photoshop, and that's under the preferences, which is under like Command K. Okay, so that's how you get to your preferences. And the way you figure out these shortcuts is, all these shortcut, all these in the menus they'll say, what they are. See, so like new layer, open, browse, all this sorts of stuff. Shift Command S, which is actually what I use that quite a bit to save stuff. Anyway, so here's a little demonstration, and it's just cool. And this kind of, I'll just show you. And notice that notice that my pointer will stay in the middle of the screen the whole time. I will not even use my mouse at all. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm not telling you what I'm doing. I'm just gonna do it, and I'm gonna say I'm gonna be like, "Ooh, look at me." Okay, soft light. Okay, so now I've already made this. I've made this complete layer on soft light, which gives me actually a grain type of look, without even using my mouse at all whatsoever. Okay, here's how I did it. You get a new layer by pressing. Actually, I think it's just Shift Command N. So Shift Command Shift N. Oops. Yeah. Well, that's actually how you do it, and it will ask you if you want a new layer, which is fine, but I would not do that because it would take extra time. So I do Shift Command Alt N. I know I'm messing up my things, but Shift Command Option N or Control Alt N. Control Alt Shift N. So that's like a big one. Then I'm going to do Shift Delete. Before we did Alt Delete, right, and Command Delete, or Control and Alt and Option. You know what I'm talking about. And but this time I did Shift Delete, and what that actually will give me is this little dialog box, and you can fill this with anything you want. You can have it always fill it to 50%, or you can do like a pattern. I could do this weird bubble pattern. I don't know why I would ever do that. And what I always like to do is 50% gray, and that's what most people do. And then I just hit OK. I didn't have to use my mouse at all. And then I hit Command F. See, this kind of is, that was kind of not necessarily completely true, because I had already used the filter grain. Okay, so that's how you reapply a filter that's already been applied. The last filter that was applied. Anyway, so I did grain and I hit Command F just like this, and once it gets it. So then I have my grain on my image. So here's what I did to toggle through the blend modes, because okay, you know, you have a grainy thing, but you want it to be something more like this, which is you know, it actually does some stuff to the image. So with that selected, you hit Shift. Oh, okay, wait a minute. You have to be on like your move tool. I think your marquee tool might do it too. Yeah, any like kind of selection tool, I think. Yeah, if it's a selection tool, does not work with the brush tool. Okay, because that actually will change the actually changes your brush, your blend mode of the brush. But if I grab this, what I did was just hit Shift plus or minus. Okay, minus brings me up to the top because normal, and then dissolve. Okay, so I just hit plus 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 plus. Okay, that's it. And until I get this off light, and I could just keep doing that until I get back to, you know, normal or whatever. But that's how you do that, which is cool. So now I don't even have to click this dumb thing. I can just do it with my keyboard. Let's see, what else do I have to say? There are, doing the filters. Also, Command Alt F will actually bring up that dialog box that I used for the filter. That way I can modify it if I want to. Like if I said, oh, you know, I did grain last time, but this time I really want more contrast, then I can say okay, and it will make those changes once it gets done, you know, computing, which actually, I guess it just did. I don't know why it was trying to move them out. Okay, so that's that. I think that's almost about it, and I can't really think of any other that I use all the time. Oh, except for Command T, which brings you tree transform. I use this all the time. I like to, you know, scale stuff. And if you command or right click, control or right click, you can get this little fly out that says like warp and stuff like that. Go mess around with that because it really rocks. And this is how you can like make crazy stuff like that. Like if you ever want to like make like a book page turning, see how this looks like? That looks like it kind of ish. But anyway, so that's that. Since I have 3 minutes, I'm going to show you what you can do. I set up on this thing, I set up some custom keyboard shortcuts because there are certain combinations that are not being used. And what you do is go into an edit menu and we go down to keyboard shortcuts. Where are they? Keyboard shortcuts. And there's even a keyboard shortcut for keyboard shortcuts, which I never use. But you can see these are not the default Photoshop shortcuts. These are Nate's nifty keyboard shortcuts too. And I have a couple, I have a couple different things that I do. One of the big ones is all these under the image adjustments menu. Since I talked about how those were bad and you should use adjustment layers instead, I took all the shortcuts for these, and I'll show you what they were before. I'll go back to Photoshop defaults. So before there would be all these image, and then this is actually really easy because you can grab what you want in the menu, and then you can say adjustments, okay, and this is Command L is what it used to be. This dialog box is too big, but there's usually something down here where you can type in what you want. No, never mind. Command L and Command Shift L, blah blah blah. So and Command M, Command B, stuff like that. So I took all of these and I repurposed them for adjustment layers because I do not like to use the thingy. I don't like to use just the actual shortcut things. So if you look under here, it's under actually layer, new, or it's under layer styles, blah blah blah, new adjustment layer. Okay, so then that's the same shortcut, but I just repurposed it for that. I think that is about as much time as I have. So you can see that you can set up a bunch of different shortcuts. Like if I do Command M, ask me if I want a curves adjustment layer, and then I do a curves adjustment layer, and I'm very happy. And that's about it. Another thing you can do, and I'll show you this just so you can waste time, which is really fun, is like if you press on one of these things and you hit your arrow, it's really fun to do this. Okay, so I'll just leave you with that. It's just fun. It's fun to waste time doing that. Oh, and by the way, when you go into the edit menu, you can actually change what you see on the on this menu right here. Anyway.